Hello, this is Annalisa from Faith Dream Create, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have two super simple cards for you, and I'm going to be doing some alcohol ink backgrounds for the card. These four pieces were scraps from my previous video where I made St. Patrick's Day banners, and I'd cut off some to make the banner shape, and I did not want these pieces to go to waste. So right after I was done that project, I grabbed out some different colors and got to work on these little scraps of Yupo paper. And if you want to see that video that I made for St. Patrick's Day, you can go check it out after this one if you have not seen it yet. So I'm just getting the backgrounds how I want them. It was such a small space, so just played around with it until I was happy and had a lot of fun with this. And I had this image in my head to use two on each card and create like a border effect. So you're going to see that once the colors are all done and these little backgrounds are all done. And I will definitely have all of the colors that I used listed down below in the description box. If you are ever curious and want to get closer looks at the products that I'm using in the video, you can always check out the links down below. And I will link to all of the supplies that I can. And then I'm going to be adding some gold in here as well with the alloy. I'm still getting used to saying all of these alcohol ink terms. So just kept on playing around with this and getting it done. And you could definitely go ahead and cut down Yupo paper, maybe a bigger one or just smaller ones to different shapes as well, and then create like that as well. But I had these lying around, and if I didn't use them, they were just going to go in the garbage. So I guess this is partially a recycle with me, partially part of my recycling with me series. Just using up all of these supplies and having fun with it. So once I was happy with the backgrounds, I let them pretty dry, but I just put them off to the side. You can see how that alloy really makes a different effect on it. It makes it shine even more. So put those off to the Didn't put those off to the side. Forgot. I just went right into the card. So I have cut down a card base, and I'm just playing around with the different angles and how I want this to be. I had an image in my head. It was just kind of like a puzzle piece. How do I put the triangles to get the look I'm going for? Do I want to create another triangle or a strip in the middle? I was okay with cutting off a little bit, but I wanted to get as much out of that scrap of the paper as possible. So I'm just gluing the Yupo paper down to where I want it. I'm using the Nuvo Deluxe glue to do that. And then I'll cut off the extra as well. And you could definitely go ahead and try and use up the little bit of extra that gets cut off as well. I didn't worry about it too much because it was so small, but there's definitely probably a way to do that. No supplies get left behind. Okay, so once that all of the things are adhered down, then I can go ahead and add my sentiment. I wanted this to be super clean and simple, not have a lot going on. And so I chose to do a thank you card or thank you cards. You could definitely switch up the die or stamp to say anything. Happy birthday, thinking of you. Honestly, you could go so many different directions with this card and the sentiment. So just cutting off the little bits that were hanging over, and then I will go ahead and show you the sentiment that I picked and what product I used. I am going to be using the Simon Says stamp Thank You on the edge die, and definitely, like I said, you could go ahead and use any die or stamp for this kind of simple card. And then I'm just using my Sizzix Sidekick machine for the cutting of it. This is a super small die, so it is able to fit through this and get the die cutting done right on your desk. So I love that. So just cutting down the black paper for this, and then I will go ahead and cut this twice for the 2 cards. So just running it through the machine. And then I do go ahead and cut it out a little bit as it comes out. And I get it ready for my card. I'll show you that process here. So I just kind of pop it out and cut it down. And you could definitely leave a large edge or a small edge. I went for medium edge. I honestly don't even know if I use this particular die properly, but it works for me, and that's really the look that I want when I use this die, so it's all good. So I just played around with the sentiment and where I wanted it. Did I want it right over the Yippo paper, or did I want it centered or sideways? You could definitely go many different directions with this, but yeah. This is just a simple card that hopefully will give you some ideas how to use up the little bits and pieces from your craft room and create something beautiful that says so much. So I really like the different angles of this card and just the fun. So I'm using the Barely Art glue to add these sentiments on because these are such a fine die and a lot of detail in the words. I wanted to go ahead and use the fine tip on the Barely Art glue. So that is why I chose to use a different glue. And it really helps with getting these fine details on. And it was so fine. I was just like making sure that it was definitely stuck down. Used one of the cutting plates from the Sizzix Sidekick machine to help adhere those really detailed letters down. And then getting the last sentiment glued down. And then that is going to finish up the card. I thought about adding some black pops of color or something here and there very simply underneath the words, but in the end I decided that I wanted to have the alcohol ink triangles be the focal point and just have that black thank you stand out and pop against the white and just be the focal point. So that is the 2 cards that I created. I really like how they turned out. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.